Oh, good. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Troy City Council budget hearings. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This evening, we'll be taking a deep dive into the Corporation Council's budget, the 2026 capital plan, the fire department and the police department. So I'll turn it over to Councilmember Soriento to run the Law Committee's budget hearing.
Good evening. I'll go ahead and do a roll call. Councilmember Brosnan,
Present.
Councilmember Spain McLaren.
Present.
Okay, I am also present, and also we have Council President Steele ex officio, Councilmember Vera and Councilmember Casey. Also with us is Mayor Carmela Mantello, Deputy Mayor Seamus Donnelly, Director of Finance and Human Resources, Gabrielle Mahoney, and our City Comptroller.
McNabb.
Thank you. But
No.
Mike picked up.
Hmm.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so we'll start with page 53 or 54.
Waiting for,
Oh, yep, okay.
Yeah.
There.
which is that?
To hear him.
Be ready to get down to business.
Why not?
I apologize, I'm double booked.
Wearing two hats?
Planning and budget meeting, so.
Planning.
Thank you, Council Member Soriento. You are going to find. First and foremost, I am super pleased that Rick Morrissey stayed on board. The institutional knowledge that Rick possesses is just invaluable, second to none, and he has restructured the Corp Counsel's office, and I'll talk to you about that. But I really want to thank Rick for hanging with us and staying on board. Thank you, Rick.
Chair.
Councilmember Spain McLaren.
So this is probably, so I agree that Rick's institutional knowledge is, second to none. You've been with us for so long. So I guess this is maybe a matter of a formality, but Dana resigned. And at first you were acting, but clearly weren't acting. You were Corporation Counsel and our Corporation Counsel, but did there have to be some kind of appointment approval, that whole thing happening, or?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I am still acting Corporation Counsel. I've not been formally reappointed, I
Oh.
guess. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clearing that up.
Chair?
Council President.
Yeah, I would like the explanation for that. I mean, I would think that our city should have a corporation counsel. You've been in that position previously and you've now been in it for a good long time. Why are we, is there a rationale you can explain to us?
I don't really have a good rationale for it.
Okay. Mayor, do you want to share why you haven't appointed him?
We are it's working as it is, and it will continue to move forward. We are super pleased with Rick, and he's acting Corp Counsel. He's doing a phenomenal job, and the office is running really well. He has hired 2 interns. He has a deputy Corp Counsel who is a recent graduate and used to be an intern with the office. And, we'll discuss, but it's working and it's moving forward and Rick is doing a wonderful job.
And I don't think anyone disputes anything about that at all. It's just that the charter requires that the mayor appoint a corporation council. And I would remind you of that.
And we have a corporation counsel who is the acting corp counsel.
Who has not been appointed.
He's the acting corp counsel president, and Dana left at the end of last year. Rick is acting and he continues to act as the corporation counsel. The charter doesn't say you must have a non-acting corporation counsel. He is corporation counsel and he is the acting counsel. I mean, it's working. And I know you're smiling, but we have cut. Well, you're going to see in this budget, one of the things that I talked about as council president is lessening the usage of outside consultants. You look at Rick's office, there have been more help in the past, and we have actually trimmed our consultant outside outside counsel. So saying that it's working, and we're very pleased. And I once again want to thank Rick.
I just have a question and I think I know the answer, just want to confirm. Is there a vacancy for one of the part-time deputy?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty much all I have on 56.
Chair,
Council President,
it was me.
Council Member Speen-Claren, sorry.
Is that a deferred hire?
I believe it is. I believe there's 27,000 salary savings. October
October.
26.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Vera?
What's the reasoning behind the uptick in dues and subscriptions?
E-code, I believe.
Thought that came out of our budget.
Yeah, wait a minute. Which budget is it coming out of?
I really think it. If you'd like to if you'd like to take it out of your budget, I would be pretty happy with that, but
So
we do use it for E-code though. We used to use it, I think, for all the law library books and the updates and things like that, but we haven't done that in several years.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was access to some like online law library or something along those lines.
I think we do have some access to Westlaw, but Sahir uses it. I don't.
He's an old dog.
It's too modern for me.
Chair.
Councilmember Speen-Claren?
So E-code didn't come out of your budget before? Because last year's budget was 1,500. And we're jumping to 10,000. Or is that what Westlaw is?
I think that may have been for Westlaw, but so there's this odd situation where the city clerk pays some of E-code out of my budget.
Okay.
So that's how,
So there's a
yeah.
bigger portion coming out for 2026 than there was in,
well, at some point, we're gonna have
2025?
to get chapter 285 codified, updated. So chapter 285 was the entire zoning ordinance that was enacted in 23. We're already at the point of trying to amend it. There are also a few minor corrections that I have pointed out in it too, that are just more clerical type errors. But at some point, it's got to get in with the rest of the city code so that people are not confused about it.
Oh, it's not in there yet.
It's online, but it is not,
It's not.
it's not fully
Word with
codified.
the-
Let's put it that
okay.
way.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Chair?
Council President?
Yeah, I see we have a $25,000 reduction in consultant. Would you explain? Is that due to the additional staffing?
Yes.
So it's pretty much a wash then?
Well, yes, I would agree. It's basically a wash.
Thank you.
I mean, the budget is lower. So it's not a complete wash.
But we've added a position.
Yes.
Thank you.
Spending less this year, do more.
Any other questions? I want to thank you all. I don't know if you want to add anything else, but
I just want to once again repeat, thank you again, Rick. Like I said, his just knowledge of legislation, history here in Troy is invaluable. And for the record, we are under the budget from 2024 or 2025. So 2026 is 970K compared to 1,022 in 2025. And, you know, it's all part of just thinking differently.
If I may just go along with the accolades, 'cause we all work very closely together. Some folks don't realize that there's just a small group of us that are doing a lot throughout the whole entire city. And I just, been a pleasure working with Rick. I've personally learned a lot from Rick. And I think that since we're talking about budgeting and savings, that it's really worth noting that Rick's meticulous diligence and care and loyalty to the city is saved the taxpayers of the city of Troy a slew of money over the years. So thank you, Rick, for everything you do.
thank you.
Ditto.
We are done. All right, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Great.
Oh, I can't. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Not
no.
in that committee.
Oh. All right. Meeting adjourned.
We'll move on to the capital plan at this time.
Because I was saying 3 or 4 pages. 1%.
I'd love to go ahead.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, wouldn't we all?
You think?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't believe it. Yeah.
I would say, okay, bulk pick up, it's 3 pages.
Sunday. They are. That's the only thing we want.
We are continuing our budget hearings on the 2026 proposed budget. Moving on to the capital plan. That is page
269.
269.
I first just want to lead this committee. Once again, thank you. We haven't seen you in a while. Hello. As many of you know, when we took office January 1st, many of the long-term projects were either put on hold. As you heard in the Public Utilities Committee meeting, several DEC mandated projects, whether it be sludge, whether it be the Dwight Lake, Bradley Lake, you name it, our dams, some other issues that were promised several years ago in terms of a plan to DEC. It didn't happen. God bless you. And so, so here we are. And last year we met with DEC, the executives, the regional directors, to talk about, we're not going to cop these projects. We're going to look to begin at least to address these many, many mandates. A gas island, another major issue, excuse me, was supposed to be built at the Public Works garage. It wasn't. That was supposed to be part of the project with the salt shed and the newly traffic and facilities shed or office building. It was never done. So saying that, many of the capital projects that you're seeing tonight, they're all about long-term, whether it be City Hall, 14 years ago, temporary, city floor, City Hall. Fast forward, we're still here. We have to start thinking differently when it comes to providing services to the people of Troy. And we have to start thinking smarter and, more importantly, long-term investment, whether it be paving, whether it be City Hall, whether it be one monument, which you're going to see in the capital plan. We're putting a shovel in the ground next year, whether it's public utilities, at East Pump, lead pipe replacement, all part of the capital plan. Additionally, Joe Mazzarillo, our General Services Commissioner, will talk about long-term at our parks, a Prospect Park master plan, which I've talked about, will begin next year to really connect Prospect Park to our neighborhoods, whether it be trails. And speaking of that, Regeneron is up there right now, actually clearing some of the trails to connect to Little Italy and other neighborhoods. But we know Prospect has much more to afford people. So we'll undertake a public engagement master plan next year, which will lay out a plan for Prospect Park to truly make it a gem. Look at the pool. Do we want maybe some type of amphitheater? Do we want maybe, some type of garden? We also have talked about Prospect Park, a dog park. I'm sure many of you have been contacted by Bonnie. We love Bonnie, and she is very passionate about the dog park. So that would all be part of that master plan for next year. Additionally, you will also see, we mentioned in the budget message, all ARPA monies will be spent next year. That includes Fair Park. Fair Park, we are going to hopefully have concepts so we can have neighborhood meetings for the all-inclusive park, which will be new on North Lake. And then the park by the ice rink upgrades accessibility. You'll see equipment in here, whether it be police, fire. I would ask if we could hit the police and the fire and public safety tonight, if you're okay with that. We'll have both chiefs here and their staff to talk about some of the things that they've outlined. I think, so my message, I just wanted to let the council know, we're looking long-term. Congress Street, Ferry Street, you know about that project, $12 million. It was on the back burner. We hope to get that bid out by the end of this year and begin that project next year. The Nick Pool, we all know we're going to all be, excuse me, doing cannonballs next year, 2026. That'll be open. Kinlock Park, many of you know, the drainage, the basketball court will be done this year. The playground landscaping, that will be done next year. I can't say enough about our staff here again. I know we've said it a million times, but Seamus, Joe, Josh Beal, Greg up at the golf course, our finance staff, they've really dug deep, and we're looking long-term, like I said, whether it be equipment, whether it be vehicles. And then obviously, like I said, we aren't going to cop jobs anymore, and we're going to do it right. So whoever takes the helm next will have a foundation, and that's our job here, provide services, build a foundation. So I'll pass it off and fire away with your questions. And once again, if we could hold the police and fire till 7, that would be great, Council President. And I'll pass it over to Joe, because many of those projects at the beginning are his. And then we can hit whatever other questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. No, sorry.
Joe, I see, just right off the bat here, the pickup trucks, plows and salters. A reduction from your estimate last year. Are we buying fewer? What has happened?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
The allocation in the capital fund for this year
Mhm.
is 100,000. The allocation for the pickup trucks, plows and salters last year was 150. Have we changed the?
I can't recall what the last year estimates were, but we received estimates this year that the 100,000 would purchase a vehicle for the plows and salters in a
So
truck.
this is this is the more current estimate. Thank you.
While you're looking, I do apologize. We all know the capital plan. It's, don't get me wrong, many of this we will be tackling, whether it be, through the general budget, or obviously the major projects we've already bonded for the firehouse and things like that. So, it's a semi wish list, but also things that we plan to tackle. And one of the things I want to point out is the hole filling machine. Joe, just quickly, if you don't mind, obviously we'll go through it with GS, but if you could talk about that, and also the wood chip, or the what's it called? The chipper. Yeah.
The pothole fill machine would reduce our staffing. Right now, we use a trailer behind a truck. We have 3 staff conducting that truck. It's longer to patch these holes with this machine. It would help with the reduction of laborers and time efficiency.
Sure.
Councilman Vera.
So that would replace the hot box then, or?
We could use it as a backup. I wouldn't replace it entirely, but we can use it as a backup to have some sort of contingency plan.
Are any of these items in this year's budget, or would these be?
No, these are
borrowed?
goals. Yeah,
These
they're
are
not.
goals?
Yeah.
Okay. What I can understand the fuel pump island at the DPW facility. What's the 300,000 for the salt shed?
The salt shed would be milling and paving the back of that area. It is in dire need. Security, we're looking for a security fence around the whole facility. Those things, lifts in the garage that are outdated.
Yeah, just to go off of the security of that too, as you all know that there was that increase in salt. The police had to literally be at the shed. People were going there actually taking salt during the winter and stuff like that. So it should definitely be more enclosed on top of everything else that the commissioner just mentioned.
Council President Steele.
Councilman Casey.
Could you talk about the parking garage improvement plan a little bit? I
It's
would
on-
assume it's,
It's on
yeah,
271.
yeah, 271. I would assume it's upgrades to all.
Yeah, so
departments.
it's, so that is not only just referring to the parking garage that is located behind what hopefully will be the new permanent city hall. There's the parking garage on State Street as well. We have some issues with glass there.
Yeah.
Both have different issues with the elevator as well, although that there's still ample accessibility because handicap spots are located where they need to be for it still to be accessible. I think it would even be point to do, especially over on State Street, just even a review of where it structurally stands. And great job to the commissioner, his facilities and parking crews that are out there. Council member, we even discussed about
Bless you.
some exposed glass over there. That has been since painted, plywood to make it more secure. So, look, our residents and our visitors are coming using these garages. They're crucial infrastructure. And I think that not only we want to make sure that everybody feels safe in them, that they're structurally sound as well. Another thing, and we were gonna, maybe I can save this for OGS, but just to go into it too, it's been noted before too, that the way that we currently try to figure out how many spots we have in these garages is very outdated. It's the way that the system works. If the parking garage has 150 spots and there's 150 permits, that's what the system thinks it can issue. There's various systems out there that are use more technology, that are smarter, that maybe if Tom Casey has a spot, buys a permit, but really he just uses it twice a week, that can calculate into the way on how many permits that we can end up selling for those garages. So that's an idea too for efficiency, a little bit of an increased revenue driver as well. There has been improvements, cameras and such on the other garage closer over to Proctor's there that the post office uses, that some police use. The camera system's been upgraded, some lighting's been upgraded since we've been here. So that's a huge improvement to that as well. But so just to zero it in, we want them to be safer. We want them to look a bit better too. And we can definitely get more efficient on how we operate them.
Well, I did mention that State Street one before because, it's nothing new. It's totally uninviting to a visitor to the city. It was in definitely disrepair. I'm glad to hear that you're going to do something about that. And I have to say, I like to hear what you're saying about the number of spaces because my cousin just moved from downtown and he would often remark that they had no spaces available in the parking garage by his house, but there was always empty spaces. And he made the same comment, people are working, they're not here at the same time, so I'm glad to hear you doing that. While we're on, I just want to talk about page 275. It's something near and dear to my heart, the water treatment residual removal, which I've toured like 3 times. I keep getting tours. Obviously,
Lagoon Park.
there's too much in the lagoons right now. And somebody said, well, they have to do this more than this and everything. But I think just an initial removal that may be taking place right now, I'm not sure. There is a piece of equipment up there that can do this without hiring anybody outside or anything. There's a piece of equipment that's got hoses and, a place to put it in the water. And this machine, no fault of anybody here, just sits there. And I think initial cost to get, a little bit out of lagoons. And I think everything after that could be done in-house and solve this problem that's been ongoing, especially with the DEC.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Councilmember, because you're on there that what you see reflected in here, the 450,000, which is actually was previously approved in a capital account by this council, that is going to get us to the point that we can catch up. We're in compliance with DEC, and then not only use existing infrastructure and equipment to keep up on it, but ultimately the goal would be to come up with a completely comprehensive plan that it's something we don't necessarily have to deal with in the future. There is more efficient ways to get the sludge out of there, and like the mayor had mentioned, it's one of a slew of DEC violations that we've been dealing with since coming into office. We're working with the DEC every step of the way. I will commend our folks up at DPU again. As you can imagine, the removal of this has taken months. Ultimately, there'll be an action that comes before the council because it's there's not a lot of folks out there willing to remove this stuff. You have to be particularly permitted and licensed. So that is something with the DPU staff has done great with looking into Andrew and his team that we're waiting actually for a proposal. We've engaged somebody waiting for a proposal, and that's something that we look forward to bringing to the council so we can get caught up, knock that DEC violation down, and move forward with it.
Now, the transmission, same page, transmission main improvement plan, is any of that the project or the main transmission lines from the Tom Hannock?
That is what that is. And the reason that you see that number there, that's smaller, not reflective of the actual construction that would have to go on with it. Some of you may be aware, but that project hit a bit of an issue where originally the transmission line was going to be running through. I want to say that it's a historic land, or there was some type of land purchase easement issue that's going to result in a little bit of a redesign of where the project is now. That's the phase we're in right now. That number is an estimate to reflect what in just the engineering that's getting worked on to kind of reroute it a little bit from the original plan. So that's the part of the process that we're currently in on the
Okay. Is there any
transit.
anticipated or other expenditures that maybe aren't accounted for here? Do you see any? And approximately how far is that project along? Just ballpark percentage.
So I mean, the phase 1 of it was completed. It's in that phase 2. A section of it has been done. There's still a good amount of it left to be done as well. Originally, the project, I want to say in total was estimated somewhere 35 million, if I recall. You'll see the 20 and the 20 because we're also starting to have conversations and planning that estimate was from a time that we have to assume we're going to see some increases, although that there is money currently to address that. But yeah, that's the stage we're at with it right now, that we're relying on some re-engineering, and we look forward to get that to start planning out the next phase,
Thank you very much.
the remainder of the next phase.
Thank you. Will,
Council President, just to add, Councilmember Casey, I think also you're talking the machine that's been sitting there not used, the weed harvester. So Miami Beach Estates is completely being overgrown
Oh, yeah.
with algae, with cattails, with invasive species. We have been in discussions with DEC. Bill Rohr, who is writing our grants, has already spoken to DEC. The big problem here is where do you put the spoils after the weed harvester dredges? It's a real problem. Sometimes you can take those spoils and actually market them for composting and things like that. Unfortunately, it's very difficult with certain spoils, the invasives. So fast forward, we're putting a plan together. We have a plan to tackle this. This is near and dear to my heart, and it was to Chris Whelan's also, not just for Miami Estates, but Mount Ida area and Burden Pond, of course. Burden Pond needs a little dredging, not too much. But Miami Estates, if we do not tackle it now, it's going to be filled in at some point. If you look at the southern end of the reservoir and toward the western end and the eastern end over by Clementi's in the northern end, they're clear, but eventually it's all going to just be cattails, invasives, etc. We do have a plan. We purchased the weed harvester. Chris Whelan actually helped get that purchased a couple years ago. But the big thing is the DEC permits and where do you put the spoils? But we're tackling it. It's something, and Seamus and Joe are sick of hearing it. We're gonna get it done. And go ahead, Joe.
2 weeks, we'll actually be meeting with DEC to talk about permitting.
Thank you. So, you know, it's something that needs to be tackled. We can kayak, canoe, a lot of people fish in that reservoir. It's key, and we need it back. So we're going to do everything to eradicate that. But when you said that machine, it is painful to see it sit there. But
I remember last year you talked just as passionately.
it's just unfortunately bureaucratic red tape.
If we could circle back to page 270, please. Recreation Department. I see we've got for this year, 150,000 for Zamboni. Is that for the Nick or Freer or what?
That is for the Knickerbocker.
Ran it out.
And I see there's a pickup truck scheduled for this year, or hopefully scheduled for this year. There was one for last year at 75,000. Was that not purchased? Or are you purchasing another one?
That was not purchased. And if that amount is different, these are the most accurate because we had received we received quotes for all the equipment that is listed.
Do the facility and park improvements highlighted here at 3 million include anything for the pub?
That still does, that amount is reflected of the ARPA funds that the council approved for not just the park, but also the pub, less what has been spent on the the current golf village setup down at Freer.
So I noticed when you talk about improvements to Freer, I've not heard anything of late regarding the restaurant. And I'm wondering if you can shed some light on that.
We'll be coming forward with a plan shortly.
And what is happening to the tent?
That will be part of the plan.
Council President.
Councilmember Vera?
I see 20.5 million earmarked for the redevelopment of Monument Square. My understanding was that some of those monies from the state had been opened up to other developments within 3,000 feet of the site and specifically earmarked for housing. Is that now part of the plan?
Yes.
So, yeah, so in this, as many of you know, 18 mil appropriated for one monument. We all know the 6 proposals went by the wayside. Hoboken unfortunately wanted more funding, state funding, federal funding, you name it. They couldn't get it. The project went by the wayside. Fast forward, John McDonald to try to help, because one of the stipulations of those monies was housing on the site. So John, in this past budget, was able to amend the language in the budget to get included the 3,000 feet to try to open it up. As we know, there's much housing development happening. What that 3,000 feet means at this point, we're not quite sure. But next year, I have talked to John, and if the 3,000 feet and the housing part, we're not sure how we're going to be beholden to that. Potentially, some of that 18 mil may go toward other projects. And
19?
was it
19?
19? Okay, 19. I apologize. There's our ARPA monies attached to that also.
Yeah,
The
and on that note,
20.5, yeah.
didn't we authorize 2 million in ARPA?
2. That's why I
So
think the monies
that
are
would be
more
21.
toward 18.
Yeah.
I think. But saying that, okay, but saying that, moving forward, we're not quite sure what those monies mean for the city of Troy. Does it mean we might get 10 of those 18 or 19 million dollars? Does it mean we might only get 6 mil? So saying that, we haven't gotten an answer from the state. We are proceeding if the monies from the state fall through and say some type of housing project doesn't happen, you will see a shovel go in the ground for the $2 million, 2.5, whatever we have left over outside of that 18 mil or so,
What's that
because,
shovel gonna do?
well, you're not letting me finish.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the people of Troy do not want a hole in the ground. The people of Troy, through all of the charrettes, all the public input meetings, which I attended a majority of them, folks are happy with some type of public access, a park, maybe having a 2-3 season type of restaurant, but not a full season. Saying that, those are things that we're looking at. John McDonald, we've been fully, keeping him in the loop. He's been keeping us in the loop. But at the end of the day, folks, we are not going to go another year without a shovel in the ground at one monument. We need to develop that site. It's part of the farmer's market picture, et cetera. And we still envision the farmer's market at one monument in terms of just during the summer months having a presence at that site. So any type of public improvement would include that type of vision. The farmers market, we have sat down with Steve and his folks from the farmers market. They are signing a 3-year with the atrium with a potential of 2 renewals of 3 years. So it would be a 9-year. So saying that, the initial vision, maybe having the farmers market and having some type of huge structure there and moving them there in the winter months, it's just not feasible to keep it open operationally, for 5-6 days a week. So they're happy at the atrium. But next year, we're hopeful. I mean, John's been fantastic. We're on the same page. We would like to use those monies, but at the same time, we are not going to go another year without that hole moving forward for development.
So if we lose the 19 million, there will be a $2 million project at
Mhm.
Monument Square.
Yeah.
Okay. I see 650,000. This is on page 271.
And if we could take a step back, I wouldn't say lose. Remember, that
The
three.
investment will happen in the city. It won't happen on
Correct,
that
yeah,
site.
I just, only because, council member, when we're not getting that answer from the state, it's so difficult. If the state turned around and said, hey, we'll give you 9 mil of that 19 mil, we could move forward, with that, with a vision. Right now, it's very, very difficult. And that 3,000 feet, we really just don't know what project that means. So, thank you.
On page 271, I see $650,000 for the new permanent city hall. Is that earmarked for developer fees or is that anticipated moving costs? What is the
That would be an estimate of anticipated moving costs, furniture the city would be purchasing.
So those monies are in addition to the estimates we've heard to date, 11.5 million for the actual development itself. On top of that would be these monies.
Yeah, so that would be, again, the stuff that would be on the city moving, furniture, typical equipment that the city currently has in the on city floor now.
Then I see going back a page, I see 6.2 million for the Riverwalk Trail. Is that grant funding? Where's that money coming from? Anticipated grant funding?
So it's a mixture of money that has already been received, plus that there is a funding gap of around, I believe, anywhere 1.3, 1.6 that we have to talk about. There is that DOS money through DRI, Northern Borders funding, I believe, as well, but that reflects the last total estimate of what the project would actually cost.
How much in DRI was earmarked for that? Do you know?
I haven't noticed. So I want to say it
I'll
was
take a
3
ballpark.
million.
I won't hold you to it. 3 million?
Yeah, 3 million.
Thank you.
And we are seeking grant funding to try to develop that. It's, something, another very passionate, our waterfront is a jewel. The Riverwalk is obviously very much used and will stir more economic development along our waterfront. So we are applying for other grants, but we still are short on that northern piece.
Council President?
Councilmember McLaren? Are you done?
Oh, I am. Yes.
Okay.
If we could go back a minute to the Freer Park facility and park improvements. I know you mentioned having the public input and that. Now, I know for the upper park, you've got kind of a concept in mind to make that an all-inclusive playground. I would implore you to please, before you come to a public input session with the folks for the main playground at the bottom, hear them out first before you come up with a concept, because I think they have been very involved in the neighborhood and engaging, at their block party, they had a whole booth set up, engaging people about what they would like to see. And I think that they have cost estimates. They've done a whole lot of homework. So I would just ask to have it sooner rather than later and hear them out, and then maybe incorporate their ideas into a concept plan rather than having it drawn up. You know what I mean? Just to really let them.
I attended the block party and I keep in touch with so many folks in
Okay.
obviously the neighborhood. You and I are half a block away.
Mhm.
But the block party, they had some really cute photos, etc. But I've learned going in cold without at least some type of sketch, it doesn't work. So saying that some type of concept plan is being developed, it's going to be very rough, council member. So saying that we'll, have CHA who is developing that. We also, with the all-inclusive, have, I don't know if you're familiar, there's a park out in the Finger Lakes. It's literally super well known for all-inclusive park, but also obviously having playground equipment. So, you know, your brothers, sisters, siblings can also enjoy the park. But saying that, we are waiting for not the official, believe me, the input is so important because we want what's right for that area. We want, obviously, within the budget, you know, what folks want, whether it be, you know, some type of the ground makeup, the equipment itself. Do you want, you know, both adult handicap swings and baby swings, et cetera? So all that will be a part of the public input project and or the public input session and the neighborhood meeting. You know, but the folks, they're super excited. And the park by the ice rink, it really needs a lot of love. We painted the fence just to do something temporary to make it look better, but the handicap accessibility is not there. It's old, but the North Lake Park is an absolute embarrassment. You can't get a transport chair in there. If you're elderly, forget it. You'll roll down the hill. It's not even level. So yeah, we're really looking forward to this project, and I think folks are going to be really pleased. But once again, that drawing, very, very concept, and then that input will be incorporated.
Thank you. And they're also, you know, just to put it out there, it's also come up, and I don't know if it's come up in any of your conversations with them, but there's a whole lot of people who, you know, from as far like out Oakwood, down from North Central, who come up and have to walk up through that winding road. And wouldn't it be great to have a walking trail that connected the field down on 15th Street right up through those woods and right into the playground? So that would be it would open it up more. It would really become a true community park where people weren't taking their lives in their hands to walk up that winding road. So that is part of what they have, you know, talked about. So.
Absolutely. And, you know, as you know, there's trails all throughout Frere Park connecting, whether it be to the lakes in Frere Park. There's birdhouses, and, you know, I can't say enough while we're on this about the Frere Park Conservancy. They're doing just a phenomenal job. Grid was up there. You know, they come every year, and this year really paid attention to the trails. And, you know, just to give a little history, I know you don't want to hear this, but when I was director of the Hudson River Valley Greenway, we had an intern. I received the call from Terry McDonald at that time. He was head of the Frere Park Conservancy, and he had this vision to do trails all throughout the park. There were no trails. They were not user-friendly, you name it. So while at the Greenway, we provided some in-kind services and a small grant. We developed the initial plan for the trail connection in Frere Park. And an intern who is now head of Capital District Regional Transportation Council actually did that whole vision for the trail network in Frere Park. So you can actually, though, go from our house. I don't know if you've ever taken it, and take the back way, the trail down to the ice rink. I don't know if you've ever been on that part.
Walk it frequently.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is. So, yeah, for handicap accessibility, the trail would be tough, but for everyday users, you know, for average folks, it'd be great. So yeah, yep, really cool.
Okay, moving on to page 271. Any questions from anyone?
I would ask with the municipal waste and recycling, if we could talk about that tomorrow with the garbage and the folks and Joe, if that would work. I did, if you don't mind, God bless you, want to mention the GEIS and that plan. As you know, the deputy mayor, other folks, we've talked about mitigation fees. You hear public safety fee. You hear curb fees. What this GEIS will do, Colony is doing it, Half Moon is doing it, other towns, municipalities, where basically the GEIS will essentially be that driving force for mitigation fees when developers come in. And, do we want sidewalks, things like that? And can we tack on to that development project some type of fees? And that's what that GEIS will allow us to do. You need that throughout the city in order to take that next step for mitigation. And I don't know if Shane wants to add anything.
Okay, we'll,
President, I do have a question.
okay.
Is that going to be as broad as you just described, or is it going to be specific?
Yeah, we're thinking to make it more specific. Well, the GEIS will be a broad GEIS, and then the mitigation fees would be accordingly.
So we'll undertake that on Thursday then at our next,
The municipal waste and recycling plan,
Right.
please.
right. Any other questions on that page though? from anyone?
Council President,
Councilmember McLaren.
annual infrastructure, is that,
That's the CHIPS
Okay.
funding and paving and milling.
okay. And the traffic safety improvements?
Yeah, I'll hit that real quick and I'll let these guys add, as you know, we all know, other municipalities are taking steps with speed limits and doing a broad stroke, okay, 25 mph. But, I have probably preached this too much. You can lower speed limits and things like that. It's a piece of the pie. And the way we're approaching it, we really feel we'd like to see more enforcement, and we know, and the police will be here tonight, our Troy police, who I believe have shown up, but it's a mixture of things. It's enforcement, it's signage, it's speed humps, it's lowering the speed limit. What this will allow us to do is create in certain neighborhoods more traffic safety improvements, whether it be Rensselaer Neath, whether it be Taylor Woodrow. If you notice, we have the temporary bumps for now as a pilot over on Madison Ave, large stretches where you don't see stop signs or four-way stops. We're putting in some pilot temporary bumps just to see if it works, et cetera. Do know accompanying that, you can't just plop them anywhere. Our engineer obviously has to do an assessment and make sure that it works. You've seen four-way stops where they weren't before, whether it be Jacob and Heath. We heard loud and clear. People are almost getting killed. Kids are almost getting killed on that corner. When you come up the hill, you can't see left and right. Joe and Shane with the engineer, and now we have a four-way stop there. Knock on wood, it has proven to be very successful and safer. So don't get me wrong, 250 is not going to get us everything, but it will begin to tackle enforcement. Lansingburg has a number of various areas. We know Wine and Skillway, we've lowered the speed limit there to 25, but certain areas need speed humps, a mixture, signage, enforcement, and more traffic calming measures. In addition to that, and you see for Park, the circle, as you know, we won't go there, but I was a huge fan of. We took that out, but the speed humps are working.
If I may add with the annual infrastructure improvement plan, it is CHIPS and some of the other funding that makes up what is usually just considered the paving and milling program. But I do want to reiterate that that's replacing ADA ramps across the city, sidewalks, utilizing it for retaining walls, other improvements across our infrastructure across the whole city, utilizing as much as we can. I think we can all agree it's definitely one of the best buckets of funding that we do annually receive from the state. And we bring multiple departments together to not only make sure it coordinates with our lead program, but engineering coordinating with National Grid, OGS making sure that it coordinates with other street light work that might be going on. So it's just turned into trying to have a lot more coordination by weekly infrastructure meetings. Everybody that works for the city of Troy, that this department touches a street or a road or a sidewalk here to make sure we're not going back repaving. You can only control it as much as you can, frankly, but National Grid is in the building often, having meetings, making sure we coordinate, and we utilize that funding to the best of our ability to get as much infrastructure improvement as possible.
Thank you.
The garbage capital will also address on Thursday night. Moving on to public utilities capital plan.
Real quick, shout out to the Quality of Life Action Crews. They're doing phenomenal. And Joe and Shane, thank you.
So that's 275 and 6.
Tom hit on most of it. I'm sorry. I think Tom hit on most of it. Yeah.
Any other questions from any council members?
Council President,
Councilman Vera.
wasn't there at one point a plan to purchase a building, an additional building for DPU? What happened with that?
Yeah, there was a plan. There was no funding. It was the Masonic Hall over on Brickyard Road. It was a vision to potentially put a training facility. It did go back on the market. I think they were asking 250-ish, 285. We have backed off on that project.
And then I see 1.2 million for Eddie's Lane Pump Station. Is there a plan to spend that next year? And I mean, I know I see it on the list, but I think
Pardon me.
the list was described as a little bit of a wish list.
Correct,
That
except
item included in the.
it's not actually, because if you do recall, this council actually did approve the improvements to Eddie Pumps Lane,
Yeah.
which is various valves and just all the different upgrades that can ensure that, that continues to serve the 110 plus people, 1,000 people that I believe it does serve. It's a very crucial piece of infrastructure, as you all know. In the beginning of getting into office here for all of us, there was a failure and a huge emergency at the lane that was addressed, but it doesn't mean that there's multitudes of things to address for the future that really do need to. One of them would be a secondary valve just in case one fails. I can't speak as eloquently about it as Andrew could, frankly, but I want to say you took action on that back in maybe July or this summer, where you did approve those funds to tackle the what we need at Eddie's Pump Lane.
So is a portion of that work going out to bid soon?
That is something that's getting worked on. Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I think that really does it for the capital plan for tonight. And I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. Our next public hearing will be conducted by the Public Safety Committee with Councilmember Casey. And we look forward to.
Do you need a break?
They've been waiting.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
I didn't know if you.
I don't need one. I think we need to move.
And Council President, if I may too, and I know that the Commissioner Mazzarello's night is really Thursday. Want to thank him for coming up here during the capital budget and really just point out that as not only as a department head that's overseeing our largest department, he's very involved in a lot of different functions and day-to-day that go on in the city. He works with DPU constantly, working completely across the board. So thank you, Joe, for always being there, making sure that everything's going good out there, actually on our streets, at our water mains, you name it. So thank you for your dedication, Joe.
If we're all set.
Yeah, I would invite the chief to come forward. Chief I think we're doing fire department first, are we?
If you
We-
don't mind,
can do-
we thought fire would take longer. Could we?
Oh,
police
absolutely.
first?
do police first.
Thank you.
All right.
I would actually like to request the council to ask the chiefs to arm wrestle to see who goes first.
That would be a good challenge.
Come forward, come on.
Okay.
Well, welcome to the Troy City Council Public Safety Meeting. Thank you for joining us. If we just take a roll call, Councilmember Soriento. Councilmember Spain McLaren, sorry.
Present.
Council President ex officio Steele,
Present.
and myself. We also have Councilmember Vera and Councilmember Brosnan here with us. Good evening. If you would just like to, since you're just joining us, for not just us, but the people viewing at home, just tell everybody who you are, and then we'll maybe have some opening remarks.
Who are you? Who are you?
Well, not everybody knows.
I'm Dan DeWolf. I'm the Troy Police Chief currently, and I've been here 31 years.
Good evening. I'm Steve Barker. I'm your Deputy Chief of Police. I work with our investigations, some of our specialized units in our training division.
And Deputy Chief Barker has a beard. It's coming in nice. We're very proud of it.
I noticed a lot of beards lately.
Yeah,
Copy
it's
that.
for charity.
Oh, okay.
Me and council member Brosnan started a great trend.
Do you have any opening remarks?
I do, and then I'm going to pass it over to the chief. The Troy Police, second to none police force. They have done an incredible job, not just obviously during my tenure, but several years. We have so many dedicated, passionate folks on the force, and I can't say enough about our command, our patrol, our sergeants, captains, Chief DeWolf, Deputy Chief Barker, Assistant Chief Adam Mason. They really are leading the charge incredibly. And I believe the morale at the police department continues to grow. As many of you know, last year when I took office, it was all about safer, cleaner. And we didn't just talk the talk, we walked the walk. And public safety, as you know, it's a cornerstone of my administration. Some stats over the past year, last year, Sentinel was implemented. Do know Sentinel is not the panacea, it's a piece of the pie. Sentinel, along with our patrol, along with GIV, along with narcotics, along with CPU, you name it, our other divisions. They not only had a 112% increase over the prior year, but they confiscated over 25,000 grams of illegal drugs, over 100 arrests. And like I said, 123 illegal guns were taken off the street, firearms. And that's all an effort of, like I said, not just because the Sentinel working with our neighborhood organizations, whether it be Little Italy, Lansingburg, East Side, you name it, a lot of tips coming in now. It's not us and them. Little by little, we're making incredible headway, and our neighborhood orgs, our community folks are really joining our police officers and taking our streets back. We've made incredible headway. We're not stopping there. As many of you know, panhandling has been a real issue downtown and some of our gateways. Between Seamus, the chiefs, we put together a really aggressive walking beat in our downtown and high traffic areas. Stay tuned because the walking beat may expand into other neighborhoods as needed. Residents, business folks, they literally embrace this with open arms. So It's had a huge impact, not just in the downtown, but like I said, our high visible areas. We're adding 16 new citywide cameras, thanks to John McDonald. Jake Ashby, some state funding has really expanded that. And obviously, we all know real-time intelligence with it improves response times. It obviously solves crime. I really want to thank our DA and other folks who are also partners in this whole effort. And so saying that, I could go on and on. I do want to mention long overdue upgrades. We have 100-year-old State Street Police Headquarters, 70-year-old police garage, major structural operational deficiencies. You will see monies in here to begin to address those issues. But once again, I really, we all know, and I say it and eyes will roll. But as the daughter of a retired detective police officer, you never know what that call is going to be, whether it be Jeremy here sitting in our chamber, making sure we're safe, whether it be that domestic violence call, whether it be a call, a kid who's having mental health issues. Our police are there. They're incredible partners. They're doing just an absolute amazing job, boots on the ground. I cannot say enough about our force. And I just, we're just going to keep grinding, and every day we're going to be tackling and taking back our neighborhoods. So thank you. And I'll hand it over to our chief.
Thank you, Mayor. So, I won't reiterate the stats and stuff like that, but, I'd just like to say so far we've had a great year. Crime is down across the board, across the nation, across the state. But in particular in Troy, I mean, we're down over the 5-year average 20 and 30% in violent and property crime, which is not just an anomaly. It's because of the good hard work that our officers are doing and our sergeants and detectives and so on. And in addition to their hard work, we have a great relationship with many of the other agencies. So federal, state, county agencies, we work with them day in and day out. We have people on task forces. They send personnel over to assist us with stuff, with investigations, with getting fugitives, whether it's the marshals or the FBI or the DEA and so on. So it's one big team really that has the same goals in mind, to keep our streets safe, keep our citizens safe, and get the bad people that deserve to be brought to justice, and find some justice for victims. In addition to that, we have a very robust community police program and community outreach program. We do a lot of picnics and, cookouts and school visits and, those kinds of things, which I'm really proud of. The citizens eat it up. They really like having us out there, just being a part of their community and enjoying their company, not always out there going to a call or seeing us arrest somebody or have to get physical, which sometimes that's what you have to do. It's just the nature of the beast. So I think that I'm extremely proud of our police department. I still love being a police officer. And I can't get over the work ethic that our officers have. They work very, very hard. They're never idle because we're down a few positions, in summer vacations and so on. There was a lot of double shifts that had to be done, but they do it and they're happy to do it. And like I said, I'm just very proud of them. And thank you guys for the support that you show us as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I just want to point out that at the end of police and the end of fire, we'll jump back to page 269 for their capital plan. And what I'd like to do is just, because it's only a few pages, maybe we could just not go page by page, but you could just, if you have a question, just note the item number. And we could do it like that. So,
Chair.
yes,
Um,
Council President Still.
actually,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear. I thought it was you.
Before
Councilmember Splain.
I ask my questions, I just want to reiterate, some of what the mayor said. I might get eye rolls as well, but my family, my daughter, we've had several run-ins where it's been necessary to call on you as well as the fire department. And I have always been very impressed and just grateful for the empathy that they have been able to show. And I know you and I have had a conversation about how, you know, you guys have been trained, and there's ongoing training about, you know, learning about autism, about mental health issues, and it's just so important. And for the families that I work with down at school too, in North Central, you know, a lot of our kids don't have very good ideas about police because, like you said, a lot of times they see you guys in the neighborhood, or, you know, arresting maybe their friends or their family members. So to have you in schools, you know, whether it's the resource officer just coming to say hi, whether you're the ones letting us out of our classroom in a lockdown drill like this morning, coming to the, you know, our events in the parking lot and having cookouts, it just matters so much that they see you in that kind of light because, you know, they need to know that you are the helpers and you're the people that they need to reach out to when they need help, and not, you know, expect that you're bringing bad news all the time. So with that,
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
of course.
And we try very hard to be kind and empathetic.
Yeah, and it shows. It does. And I can't tell you how ticked off I get when I hear, you know, you see Sidewinder or someone announce, you know, there's been a shots fired incident or whatever, and all of the comments, oh, it's the Troilet, what do you want? It just ticks me off. So anyway, to the budget. So I notice in the budget that there is 0 recommended for the 3 overtimes. And I don't know what those codes are specifically. Whereas during the first 6 months of this year, there were about $81,000 encumbered. So it would be the JAG, the GIV, and the OVW.
Hey, Steve, do you know about the JAG? Is that about the same? I know that the Strive and, or the OVW and GIV are pretty much the same. Oh, because of the federal government stuff, yeah.
Oh.
But GIV is pretty much the same as last year, the 171, 909. OVW is pretty much the same as well.
Okay, but
Well, I
they're
don't know whether or
budgeted
not-
for zeros.
Yeah,
So is that going to put us in trouble?
They're grants. So we get the money. We do it only if.
Oh, gotcha. That was
Those
what
are-
jumped out at me.
Those are grant fundings that come off, look, they actually come off direct. As you can see, they also weren't budgeted currently either. They come off directly off of what the overtime
Okay.
spend is. So that's why you don't see it as an expense. It ultimately deducts off of that expenditure.
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
All right.
Chair.
Councilmember Rivera.
On page 98, I'm looking at line item 423 uniforms. I see that we encumbered quite a bit on that line item back in 24, and that this year we're budgeting about $90,000 less. Is there a reason for that? Was that uptick in spending relating to something specific, and now we're just kind of going back to where we were?
Basically, there was a period of time when, based on hiring practices that occur at 5-year intervals, we had a lot of people up for bulletproof vests. We have to replace those every 5 years because we hired in large groups that year. We didn't only have to buy new vests for the 25-ish people we hired, but also we had a massive 44-member 5-year replacement
Gotcha.
that has tapered off, and now we replace about 20 a year in addition to whoever we're hiring.
So then you anticipate the costs for that line item to be relatively flat from here on out then, or? Yeah.
In
right.
turn, we'd always like to hire our full capacity and so we plan for that. With the next few years, our numbers should be about the same when it comes to replacement vests. There may be a point like 8-ish years down the road, I haven't forecasted out that far, where there might be another large gap, as long as those same people stay on. If we have people that stay on past 20 years, plus those new hires that get their 5-year vest, it may lead to an excess, but at this point, for the next few years, that should be about our stable number.
Excellent. Thank you.
Chair. Chair.
Oh,
Um,
Armento?
Maybe also, if you don't mind, Chief, as we talked about, we're putting funding in the capital plan just for traffic calming measures, speed humps, things like that. In addition, we are adding traffic enforcement.
Yeah, correct. So in a January 1st, pretty much right around there, we're going to be adding a third traffic officer, which will help to increase revenue and provide more traffic safety out on the street. So we're happy about that. We had a rut in the last couple of years where we went from 3 officers down to 2 officers, and then one of the 2 officers was out with an injury. And then when he came back, they were together for a little while, and then the other officer had to go out. So that was an issue. But currently we have 2 officers that happened, that are full-time. That happened like mid-September because the other 2 officers both retired. And in, like I said, January 1st, we'll have a third officer. So we'll be back up to speed.
Yeah. Chief, that's what I wanted to ask you about was I know over the last few years, you guys had a very aggressive recruitment campaign. They even did little commercials and different things like that. And it seems to have worked. You want to talk about staffing a little bit?
Yeah, so currently unfortunately, we're down nine people. We have 6 in the academy. We just graduated 5 or 6. How many? 5. We started with 6, we graduated 5. They're just about ready to be out on the street by themselves. They're just finishing up their field training program. The other officers won't be ready until the spring. But we're hoping to hire a few more officers off the current list. And then the new list will come out probably sometime in early December, and we'll hire the rest of that complement. So hopefully we're back up to full complement with the winter class. However, there's going to be, some more retirements in early winter. So depending on when the academy starts, we may be able to anticipate that. And with the blessing of you and the administration, we can hire a few extras as long as their paperwork is in. It would only be for like a month where you had 2 people on a payroll, but it would put us in a better position to really have a full complement of officers without always being behind.
Do you feel you're still, it sounds like you're not having the tough trouble recruiting anyway. I know I saw something, you're accepting laterals.
Yeah. So yes, and we just interviewed a lateral candidate last week, went through the Civil Service Commission to make sure all of his paperwork was right, and we'll be hiring him in the next couple of weeks. He was from town of Saugerties. Excellent. He should be an excellent hire. He really is a good officer. He appears to be. Our recruitment was excellent, though. I mean, we had the most people signed up in the Capital District for a municipal exam. So we were pretty happy about that. So it paid off. And, the pendulum's starting to swing back where people want to be in law enforcement. So that helped.
You go back a few years ago and people were actually lateraling out of Troy, and that was something I'd never seen. And it was something that was almost heartbreaking. Everybody always wanted to be on Troy, and to see it going the other way was just horrible.
Part of that was, was the pay scale. And so that was a big help with the administration, the council passing that, is able to keep us, at a level that it should be so that you don't have those people jumping around all the time. So, when people do leave here, they don't leave here because they don't like Troy or they don't like the Troy Police Department. They leave here for other reasons. Sometimes it's going to the state or going to a federal government, but when they go to another local police department, it's generally for money, but they're not happy. You know what I mean? They really love being here. So, I mean, the culture is good in the department, and we're proud of that.
Unfortunately, many laterals in the police and fire, they get somewhere else for the money and realize that the benefits aren't the same.
Right,
And they don't always take that into consideration and they find out the hard way.
right,
you know.
right, yeah.
Chair.
Councilmember Vera.
Gabrielle, I'm wondering if you can, or I guess, Deputy Chief, if you can go through, any deferred hiring. I see 169,000 in salary savings. I'm just curious if those are all step increases.
There's one deferred hiring of the senior account clerk position, and then the rest of the salary savings is coming from contractual step increases.
So there's two senior account clerks. It's the one that's a zero for the current.
The vacant, yeah,
When
yep.
is that being deferred until?
I'm sorry, April of 26.
And that's the only deferment?
That
in
is the only deferment, yes.
There's a couple of officer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Chair.
Councilmember Spain McLaren.
What is demo? Oh,
Data entry machine operator.
thank.
Thank you, Councilmember Soriento.
And is that a deferred hire?
Any more questions? Well, I guess you're all set.
We have to do the capital.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. I also want to say that we'll, at the end of both, we'll jump to page 93 for, the dispatch. Yep, capital plan, sorry,
Yeah.
269.
And number one, hit revenues.
Revenues?
We'll want to hit revenues too.
Okay, for the fire.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Chair. Chair.
Councilwoman,
Oh.
Spain McLaren.
Thanks. Wasn't sure if you heard me. I have a question because it's a very small list. I was looking at last year's totals. Now, I assume going across should add up to the last column and then going down in that section, it should add up to the total because the numbers don't match. It looks like the three items, there's marked patrol, SUVs, unmarked, and then facility upgrades and improvements. And then amounts are exactly the same as last year, but the two totals are different. But then if you go across marked patrol, SUVs, it says 1130, but I got 1910. If you go across unmarked, it says 600,000, but I got 265,000 because some of them are zeros.
So, Councilmember, yeah, it looks like the estimated totals at the end that you're talking about, the formula must not have picked them up.
Okay.
Those didn't change. But what you're looking at, the earlier reference of the total per year at the bottom there is, those are the accurate totals.
For each year.
Okay, so even though the three amounts up top don't match, don't add up to that total, what,
For within the,
if they were
within the,
correct, they would add up?
yes, so within the year, that total is
Okay,
the total per year, sorry.
okay, so marked patrol SUVs has gone up significantly. I know that we've got legislation for Thursday night about new vehicles. would that come off of, would that pull that off this? No, because this is for next year, so it wouldn't pull it off this. Right?
Correct. That's just the police department purchasing what's already been budgeted in 2025
Okay.
for that. And the increases as you see as you go on, because we've already dealt with an increase in 2025, we're just trying to show that, you know, these things are going to continue to increase.
Every year they need to.
Yep. Just as.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've talked about this last year, just the wear and tear on the vehicles and you
But I
constantly
mean,
needing to replace them.
the cost of the replacements are just out of sight, and the cost of the new lights and the new radios, everything is just
Yeah.
going through the roof, unfortunately.
Revenue?
Anyone?
I don't think so. Where do you want to go next?
Revenues?
Do revenues next?
Yeah, police revenue. Guess we'll bounce back to police revenue. Any question on the revenue side of it?
Chair?
Councilmember Spain McLaren.
There is a significant increase in vacant building fees. Is that? It is, okay. So the only one that actually pertains to PD is the first one for police report fees?
And it's fine. Your- Okay,
We'll look
yes,
at channel.
page 11, where you're looking, Councilmember Noah. So on channel 10, page 10, fines and forfeitures. Give a little plug to our channel 10 folks, right?
It's actually page 16, but
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, I have both.
17.
I'm sorry, I have both budgets, so I'm switching between 25 and 26.
that's
So
it.
yeah.
So
I got
it's
the-
17 on our.
Okay, okay, I was there. I was there.
Yeah. Sorry.
Chair.
Councilmember Vera.
So I guess I do have a question on that. So traffic fines, projecting a $55,000 increase, is that reflective of an uptick in traffic enforcement? Is that
Well, that's what we anticipate with the addition of the new officer that's going to be starting.
Okay.
And honestly, you know, the number of tickets is up for this year. The fines aren't, but the tickets are. So I mean, it's like
Hmm.
we write the tickets, we do the best we can, you know, and we don't control where it goes from there. So we're over somewhere between 300 and 400 additional citations this year than we were last year at this time. So
is how are those fees assessed? Is that local law, or is that?
some are local law and some
Some-
are state V&T.
Okay,
It
so if the
depends.
state-
They don't always transfer over to local.
Right, so the city can't just set whatever fine we want for speeding or something
Right.
like that necessarily, correct?
Yeah, and a lot of the I think a lot of the like DWIs and things like that, or they stay state. They don't
Okay.
they don't get transferred over.
So then that revenue, that line item might only be a portion of the actual ticket that a driver may pay. There's court fees, there's other fees associated
Exactly.
with it. Okay.
You're right, yeah. Yeah, there's always the court fees, and the higher the fine, the higher the court fee. So
Okay. That traffic officer, do they have other duties or that is their full-time?
That's their primary function is, traffic safety, DWI enforcement and the like.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll respond to, if there's an emergency or something and they're nearby, of course.
Oh, of course.
They're
Yeah,
going to do regular police work, but that's their primary responsibility.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chair.
Council President Steele.
The public safety other, I see we had 362 and 24. It's been zeroed out. Was that redistributed to some other line? Or was that an unusual incidence?
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
We believe it's a grant reimbursement we haven't received in the past couple of years, but we'll get an exact answer.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, if we have none, thank you for,
Did you say there was another place you wanted to go back to?
I was gonna do after both, which was not
Oh.
page 93. That's the dispatch.
Oh, okay,
That's under public safety.
okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming tonight.
And
Thank you.
I just want to say again too, I know it was reiterated earlier on by the mayor and the chiefs, but we work very closely with all three chiefs. Couldn't speak highly of them, and they really, but do you have the power to do that? They really put a lot of effort into cultivating a certain culture in our department, like Councilman Spain McLaren noted earlier too. They're dealing with people that are in emotional distress, drugs, shootings. My girlfriend says I suck. I mean, it's the bandwidth that they're dealing with throughout the whole entire day. And they're such a talented and skilled force that does work with a lot of other entities collaboratively, but really the culture in our department. And that's why we're working every day to make sure that we have people that are there for 32 years and really want to move up the ranks, want to support the department. And that's the type of culture that the chief and the other chiefs has really supported. So just want to thank them for that hard work.
Before you go, I did want to mention, we have 1 or 2 blocks in South Troy that are real drug hotspots. In fact, I Narcan my second person in 2 months today. And it's a sad situation. The drug unit's been there. The community police is outstanding. But we still have this persistent problem. It's beautiful blocks, beautiful people. We just have these persistent problems. In fact, we went down there, we got the police camera. It was great, cleaned it all up. I went down there a couple of days later. I was there for 5 minutes and somebody told me I didn't belong in the neighborhood. And 2 seconds after that, I was told I better get out of the neighborhood. And they didn't quite use that language. And I was shocked. And I haven't really been back. It was shocking that type of environment. And I think of 2 schools right there, and you've got, a store where people go and people live there with their children. And I was very surprised. And, but the long-term thing I want to ask, it seems like we end up pushing the people from place to place and they find a new place to live. They break in a house and, they go for here and there. Is there any type of long-term solution? Maybe there isn't, because it seems like all we do is shuffle them from one block to the next. And I don't know if there's an answer. It's not an easy thing. You're dealing with people who are.
We do the best we can. We do our part. There are definitely more parts to that puzzle than just the police department. And we're continuing to, we have some other good stuff that's going to be going on down in that specific area that you're talking about in the near future.
Good.
But as far as changing people's behavior, I mean, there's only so much we can do. And having landlords keep their tenants accountable and all those kinds of things, you know, it can't all fall on the police department. And,
Yeah.
and expect that.
This one, because a constituent said, you know, you're shuffling around, is there anything to do? And I said, I don't know if there's anything. And the landlords say, you know, I come to the building and these people are there and, you know, so it's,
Yeah.
okay, well, thank
And
you.
we work with any landlord like that. I mean, we do whatever we can to assist them. And if we can make an arrest, we'll make an arrest, and maybe they'll be remanded and maybe they'll be walking out the door.
Yeah,
But it's very difficult.
yeah, I know. Thank you
And-
very much.
You know, if I may, I mean, we all know that Raise the Age has had an incredible impact, not just on Troy, but surrounding municipalities statewide. It has had an immense impact on our youth and older folks using our youth to carry guns and things to that nature. When did you hear of a 13, 14-year-old carrying guns? When I was 13, 14, you know, I was playing and getting muddy and playing ball until the streetlights came on. Times have changed. But saying that, bail reform, we all know that that has also had an impact. So, you know, our state legislators, the governor, we continue to implore them, including our DA and others. It does have an impact on us at the local level. I cannot say enough about our force. And if you drive through the streets of Troy, sure, we have some hot spots, but in terms of the city as a whole, knock on wood, you know, you've heard it. We're seeing it. Neighborhoods are taking back their streets, and it is a one block at a time. In terms of shuffling, the violent crime folks, we're not shuffling them. We're shuffling them into the courts. And unfortunately, it's a revolving door from the courts. So in terms of our force, we're going to just keep grinding at the local level. And I do want to tell folks out there, sometimes if you call the tip line, you may not think that maybe activity from our force is happening. It's happening, man. They're watching. They're out there. Our detective bureau is out there full force. They're hungry. And I cannot say enough about them. So, but saying that, you know, I get it. And sometimes even to our patrol and the command and the captains and sergeants, it's tough because you see someone that you just locked up yesterday or just a panhandler issued a ticket like literally a half hour ago. They're back out on the street. So it's also our courts, bail reform, raise the age, has a huge impact on us locally. Yeah. And, you know, as Seamus just mentioned, we're working with other departments, whether it be here in City of Troy with Operation Sweep, police are a huge part of that, or whether it be with surrounding municipalities, the intel, the camera system, you name it. It's all related. It's multi-jurisdictional, and it's with the feds and the state also. So we're just going to continue grinding it out.
I want to thank you all for coming and for
Yeah,
the great information, and sorry we're slightly delayed tonight, but thank you.
well, we're doing right into, do we have that? Or we're going right into fire? We're going right into fire. Unless the chief wants to come back tomorrow.
Once council president, always council. Or something.
I'm sorry, I forgot
or
about
some-
we'll do revenue first. Sorry.
Something about like that.
I don't think they have to, these guys.
We get to.
No, I don't think they have a line item associated with fire.
Well, they got ambulance revenue, right?
Oh, ambulance revenue.
Yeah,
good
ambulance
That's the,
revenue.
that's the big one.
I want to ask about that.
So how does this happen? If we adopted a zero line budget, how does it show up as that? We never used it.
Oh, where's some
I know it's
sunglasses?
just in there to show us, but did we actually?
We did, and then, and at that time, you reminded them
Right.
that we were right from the beginning.
Yes.
Of course, they came up with something.
Yes.
It had to be pulled out of the contingency
It's just,
and put into here. So
Chief Salucci, just you, huh? No, nobody wanted to come, huh?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh,
Boy.
he did wait till they left.
Tough crowd, tough crowd.
Chief, could you just introduce yourself and maybe some opening remarks from the mayor and yourself?
I can say who I am. Okay.
Well, for the people out,
yes,
TV land.
Chief Salucci, the City of Troy Fire Department. I've been the chief for almost 2 years now. So
Thanks, Chief. And, you know, his sidekicks, Jared Behringer and Mike Kelleher. And I think we have Chris Heimbeck. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Very quickly, we talked about it obviously in my message, but it does warrant at this meeting just to once again thank the folks who did support the unprecedented support, $16 million of investment. We all know public safety goes hand in hand, safer, cleaner. 2026, you all know, we will be breaking ground for the new state-of-the-art firehouse in Lansingburg. We all know the Fifth Ave Firehouse has been, I think, 25 years overdue in its just lifeline. The addition, and to take a step back, I cannot say enough about our Troy Fire Department. As mentioned earlier, council members Faye McLaren and I have, we have a special needs child, and the fire department has been to my house a couple times for my son, and knock on wood, hasn't had to come recently, but I cannot say enough about just their professionalism, their attention. When my dad fell backwards on the stairs, I'll never forget the wait time at Albany Med. At that time, it was toward the end of COVID, and it was going on an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I'll never forget Joe Henkel kept my dad company in the ambulance talking about the Yankees. That's what these guys are all about, and women. And we do have another woman that we have hired on the force. So now we will have 2 and 3 in the lifetime. So, our folks continue to try to go into our schools, et cetera, to really recruit minorities. And Kevin Pryor has been a big part of that. I can't say enough also about, we all know study, schmuddy, but this study gave us the pathway to incredible investment. Seamus, our UFA, really pounded that out. Our working group rolled up our sleeves. We said that our working group was not just going to meet, we were going to act. And this investment is a huge part of Chris, Jeff Ward, the folks in the UFA, and Seamus, Amrich, and everyone, Rick, Gabrielle, and everyone pulling it together. So 24-hour ambulance. We know we now have all ambulances in service 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that vision came 30 some odd years ago by Gary Favreau and others. Additionally, new fire apparatus, at some point, the rescue squad, it's very important. You'll see that in the capital program where, fortunately, that was voted down. We will be coming back with that. And additionally, for new members on our fire department force. I cannot say enough about their top-notch coverage, and I will now hand it over to our chief, who I really enjoy working with, and with the chief. I think you being grassroots and just being there for so long has really brought about some good morale, but also you were boots on the ground. I really thank you for leading a great department.
Stay long enough, they make you chief. Thank you. I feel the same. Thank you very much. And thank you all for your support, you know, with that, the $16 million obviously can't happen without you, all you guys. And we truly appreciate all your support.
Chair.
Councilwoman, Spain McLaren.
If we're jumping right into revenue, can I ask about the almost $1 million more listed as revenue in advanced life support medical billing?
Correct.
Okay, that's where.
So, yes. Yeah, I got you. All right, that's okay. There it anyways. So yeah, so we have budgeted more. That's due to a few different items. Task force that we implemented gave up some short-term goals. We spoke with Comstar, our billing agency, our third-party billing company, ways we could increase our revenue. Back in February, mid-February, we increased our billing rates for ALS, BLS, mileage and such. They estimated, Comstar is going to give us a conservative estimate. They're never going to overestimate. They gave us an estimate that that billing rate, those changes would increase our revenue by $340,000. So we back on July 31st, got a report, which was, again, we didn't start it till mid-February. So it's shy of 6 months. We were $180,000 over where we were in 2024. So we're projecting to be, you know, over that amount. Additionally, we have changed some of we're able to bill for a few more things that we weren't able to in the past, specifically cardiac arrests and motor vehicle accident assessments. What do I mean by that? We bill when we transport. All right. So if we go to a car accident and we do an assessment and people refuse to transport, we historically have not billed for that. Also, as far as cardiac arrests go, in years past, we would transport all cardiac arrests in years past. Since COVID, a little bit before COVID, and definitely during COVID, there was a big push to not transport people that weren't viable. That doesn't mean we don't transport people. That means people that are in cardiac arrest, that means that we treat people at the scene. We have specific protocols that we have to follow. We speak with a doctor. A lot of times, though, if they're not viable and we've run through all of our protocols, we get online with a physician, we talk with them, we talk it over, and we stop efforts. If we didn't transport them, we would not be able to get to bill. Now we're able to do that. We're not billing at the ALS rate. We're able to bill for that at the BLS rate. So we're estimating, you know, approximately, you know, probably maybe a $70,000 increase in just being able to bill for those cardiac arrests and those motor vehicle accidents. Additionally, we worked with Comstar to help some of our report writing to maybe, you know, just do a little bit better there, maybe get some more additional funds. Also, we looked at the first quarter of this year. That was when we had Medic 3 on duty for 24 hours during the first quarter of this year. We looked at how many transports Medic 2 did. So kind of follow me on this. If Medic 3 wasn't in service, Medic 2 would have taken Medic 3's calls, and there would have been no fourth ambulance to take the call. Right. So the first quarter of this year, Medic 2 did 83 transports. So those were 83 calls that would have been turned over to a private company would have been a longer response time, was revenue that we would not have gotten. So we took that 83, multiplied it times 4. We estimated about 332 transports that we would increase. As of 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, I ran the numbers. We were at 333 already. So we're going to be over that amount. So we projected an increase of $133,000 just with the transports from Medic 2, and we'll be over that because we're already at that rate. And then finally, we are following, I don't have an answer on this just yet. There was some recent state legislation regarding insurance billing, whether in network and out of network. And if the insurance company, if we don't have a contract with the insurance company out of network, they would be sending the payment directly to the patient. Right. So there's been some recent legislation, and I'm still following up with Comstar on this. It's not really easy to get the information from the insurance company, so it's kind of slow going. But we are working with Comstar to see if there's any way that we can, this new legislation, and we can increase some of our funding. And I believe we will. How much, I don't have an answer for just yet.
Thank you.
Can I just mention, that's really good, that change where if you call it in the house that you're getting paid for it. I see that happening around. I just recently heard about it in last year. But as you know, when you're calling the house, the amount of supplies you wasted
Correct.
and used,
We would
is
eat
quite a bit.
We would eat that cost
Right.
previously.
Right.
yes.
So that's good you're recouping it because it's quite a bit of equipment and the
Correct.
equipment isn't cheap.
Medications.
Yeah.
And disposable equipment. Correct.
Anything else on revenue?
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
and
President,
excuse me, historically too, we kind of underestimated under budget, I should say, our revenue the past few years. So we should be on track for that increase.
I'm just curious on the hazmat charges. These are coming from other municipalities that we are,
No, it's basically like reimbursements for equipment and such if we use them on a call.
okay. We don't have any arrangement where we provide hazmat services and are reimbursed. Is that correct?
Correct. We do have, the county, we do bill, like for instance, if we have a hazmat call at RPI, they do get billed for the equipment that we use, replace that. The county is same thing. We end up billing the entity, the company. The county does supply us with some equipment, meters, sensors, stuff like that. They do supply us with that also.
But we run the actual classes and program.
Correct.
Right. Thank you.
There's no more on revenue. Fire is page 110 to 115. And again, if you could just reference the item number, so we're all on the same item. 110.
Here.
Councilmember Brosnan.
For permanent salaries, we're increasing. I'd imagine that's from the new contract. For salaries, overtime minimum manning. And the grant, it's all decreasing, and the grant is budgeted for 0.
The AFG grant?
Yes, sir, sorry.
So the AFG grant was what we used for last year in 2024 for our paramedic class. Send 8 personnel to paramedic school. It covered their tuition, their supplies, and more importantly, covered the backfill to cover those positions. That grant actually expired at the end of 24. We did have some additional funds available. We were able to get an extension on that through January of this year. So that grant has ended. We will have estimated approximately 12,
Bless you.
we will have 12 individuals, 12 employees that will have to go to paramedic school next September. we do plan on applying for that AFG grant again. We've gotten it twice. Hopefully, freeze a charm.
How do you go about applying for the grants? Do you have a grant writer that you
We
use?
do, yeah. Battalion Chief Kevin Kilgallen writes our grants.
All right. And then overtime is down. Is that because there's an increase to how many firefighters you have on during the day?
Correct, right? We've increased our overall number from 124 to 128. And then historically, we've been a lot of vacancies in the last few years. We've hired 41 firefighters since September of 23.
With the additional 4 firefighters, is that going to reduce jumping rigs and?
Well, so yes and no, right? So Medic 3 is going to be on duty. We are not stopping jumping Medic 2 with Engine 2, but Medic 3 is taking the calls before Medic 2 does, so it should reduce the number of times that that's done. Medic 2 is more like a last resort type thing. We try to keep Engine 2 on duty as much as possible. So it hasn't alleviated it completely, but it does reduce it. So like, like I just said, we went out 333 times or whatever I said. So that's how many times we've done that this year.
Do you find that you go past engine or Medic 2 at all? Or are we leaving?
I'm sorry.
Do we ever go past Medic 2?
Oh, yeah, sure.
What happens in those scenarios?
Mutual aid with Town of Colony, Mohawk Ambulance.
Would it be beneficial to have
Medic 1.
additional medics on duty, or would it not be cost efficient?
I mean, it'd definitely be beneficial. I don't know if it'd be cost effective. I mean, I don't think you ask any fire chief in America if you need more personnel and more equipment would be beneficial. Sure. Yeah. I don't know I don't have how many times mutual aid's been called into the city this year. I don't know that number off the top of my head.
I just would also like to point out, we do have Medic 1 and Medic 4. You know,
Absolutely, sure.
Sure.
Councilmember Vera. Are we done?
I had one more.
Okay. Councilmember Brosnan.
Consultant fees are going from $135,000 to 0.
Part of that. Yeah, that was part of the study.
All right. So you shouldn't need any consultants at all this upcoming year.
Well, that's all included for the firehouse, but that's all included in the.
All right.
in the-
I just
yeah.
saw that big jump. I'm like, man, that's
Mhm.
concerning. Thank you. Thank you for now.
Sure.
Councilmember Vera.
Councilmember Brosnan stole my question, but I'm going to continue the line of questioning. You're saying that this was for the fire study, but we encumbered that line item for 131,000 in 23 and then 136,000 in 24. We didn't
was that
spend that much on the
Comstar?
study. So what was
Comstar?
paid for out of that line item? I'll get back to you.
That might be Comstar.
Okay.
That might be the Comstar,
So
the billing.
just to be clear, we're talking 409.81, not the 409 line item that was zeroed out. Looks like for years. All right.
Guess I'll ask, so page 112, 410 training expenses.
Yes.
Is that a combination of medic school and maybe academy related expenses?
Correct,
training?
yes. It's, we're full staff right now. We have 10 firefighters in the academy. Counting them, we're at full staff. Obviously, we'll have some retirements this year. So that is inclusive of, I don't foresee us having enough to run our own academy this year. So that's inclusive of sending a budget for 5 to go to the Utica Fire Academy and 12 for the paramedic school. Some officer training down in New York City, some flip school training. We've budgeted in for that. Again, hoping to get that. We're going to put in for that AFG grant, hopefully.
I don't really think you have too many people eligible to retire at this point.
No. We got to fill. We got
A
to fill.
couple.
We got to fill.
I also want to say, talk about 423 uniforms. I thought with all the new hires that already hired, I thought that would have went down. There must be more than just the initial uniform.
So-
for the new
Right,
hires.
so what we did with there is we included turnout gear in here. So in 2019, the city financed a second set of turnout gear for the entire department, 100 and some odd sets. Turnout gear has a 10-year expiration date. So we do repair gear. You know, it gets ripped, torn, worn. We do repair our gear. We have money budgeted in our repairs line for repairing gear. But we also weigh as to whether or not sometimes, you know, a turnout coat costs, you know, $2,400. If it's going to cost $1,600 to fix and it's, you know, 7 years old, we're probably just going to replace that. So we're going to be looking at the gear. That's the 2019 gear, starting to replace, incrementally that gear over the next few years. So we're not hit with in 2029, hitting with a huge, you know,
Right.
100.
They have 2 sets.
Everybody has 2 sets.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're trying to project that out and
And
replace the worst gear.
you already talked about staffing. You already talked about that. So that's all I had.
Mother hen.
Chair.
Councilman, yeah.
Salary savings. Are we deferring any hiring? I also see 2 line items, and I know you explained last year why you separated. It's the only department that has that, and I don't recall, if you don't mind reminding me.
Just get to the page. So, there are no deferred hire dates in this department. The salary savings that you're seeing, 111,172 is from contractual step increases. And the other line for salary savings is for the SAFER grant.
And is that a grant that we know we're receiving? Sorry,
So the SAFER grant, we were awarded the grant in March of 23. We were not able to start it right away because we didn't have a valid list. So we put in for an extension. We started that in September, October of 23. So we do have to put in for an extension for that to extend it now. It's supposed to end in March. We're fairly confident we're going to have that extended until at least October. And then we project to have some fund balance available in there, some leftover, and we're going to try to push that through till December.
Okay, so those were monies that were already awarded, but for various reasons, we weren't able to access that money. So we're just extending. So
Correct.
eventually that grant will run out.
At the end of 26.
Is that something that can be applied for?
Yes,
Okay.
but you have to, yes, you can apply to both replace existing positions or add positions. So that's something we'd have to see where we're at as far as vacancies and such.
But then so we're including it in this year's budget, but it's unknown if it would be able to be included in the next budget.
The salary savings is only through the guaranteed October date.
Only.
So if we do
guaranteed
get
October.
the additional grant or the extension, it would be even more.
That would
than
improve
the-
it, but- right, okay.
Correct, yes, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we don't have, because of the shutdown, we're unable to get that information right now for FEMA. Yeah.
I also want to ask you just for reference, so I know, 101A, it's a disabled. What are the FGGHJM? I'm not sure.
Is it people?
Those are the initials.
Oh, that's the initials. Do you know about approximately, I mean, are these old disabled firemen that, I mean, are they going to be off our book soon, or some of them are newer than others? Doesn't really matter, just wondering.
They're all over 20. I don't think you'll have anything off soon.
Yeah,
Not everybody
okay.
off soon, no.
Oh, okay, I see that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Chair. While you're looking through that, I really have
Oh.
to give a shout out to Seamus for really putting as a priority the other firehouses, whether it be the apron at the main fire station, long overdue improvements really needed at the other stations. So that is included in here also.
Sorry, that's Chair,
Councilmember.
that's included in the budget or in the capital plan? Okay.
Sorry, I thought you were.
Anything else? Good, Jim, to
Capital plan.
capital plan. 269, page 269, the capital plan.
So, Chair,
Councilmember Vera.
the 1.3 million for facility improvements is not just the design of the new Station 1 then? It includes the apron at 6th
Headquarters, yeah. So, yeah, correct. That is also, pardon me, that is also includes monies that this council has already passed to make improvements across all the firehouses, of course, barring Station 1 that we're going to be obviously looking to replace, that we are replacing.
Okay, and so then based on this, it looks like for 26, Station 1 will be in design architecture mode for a groundbreaking in 27. Is that?
We'd be looking actually to break ground in 2026 and a completion in 2027.
Okay.
We talk about the status of the rescue squad.
So currently our 2016 rescue squad blew an airbag yesterday, one of the suspensions. So that just went out for repair. So we are currently into 2003, which I'll be honest with you, gives me a little anxiety. So yeah, it's a basic repair. I don't know. Hopefully we'll have it back by the end of this week. I mean, it's nothing, it's just a course of doing business. It's a repair. And yeah, we'd like to try to get that back on slated. It's going to be a 3 years to once we order it to get it in. So we're still going to have to deal with that 2003 for 3 more years.
And just to add too, I know that did not get approved by the council previously. We are going to be bringing it back again to try to take another crack, and hopefully that we could get unanimous support from all of you, because one of the other things is this is a key necessity to our fire department. The rescue squad has a lot of the specialized equipment on it that's utilized at many calls, anywhere from ambulance equipment to high-tech to other high rescue equipment on it as well. And like the chief noted, these waiting times are not going to get shortened. They're continuing to grow. And we not know exactly, but it's not going to be a great amount, is that as soon as you click over to 2026 in order, the price is going to increase. They've already told us that after the last time that the rescue squad did not get approval by the council. So eventually it's something that is crucial apparatus that is needed. And we're just going to see the price keep going up, and we're just going to see the can keep getting kicked down the road if we don't receive it. So hopefully the council members that did not support it previously would reconsider to get so that we could get this crucial fire safety apparatus that's so important.
Chair.
Councilmember Soriano.
Echo on that. It is very important, and it almost seems like every other week, it's, they're breaking down. And I mean, this is, someone's life can be, it's a life or death matter within minutes. And if we don't have the proper equipment, that could, potentially, save a life if we do have that equipment. And it's within minutes. And if we don't have that equipment, I mean, that's, you can't toy around with public safety like that. You really can't. So I do have to echo on that and thank you for.
Chair.
Councilmember Spain McLaren.
I would like to make a correction to the previous statements because the rescue squad was unanimously supported at that meeting. It was one of the other trucks that did not pass.
No.
Yeah.
That was the squad.
That's absolutely
Well,
incorrect, council
let's-
member, unless you would like
Yeah.
to, maybe we're missing something. If it's approved, we'd love to maybe go get it. If you
Well, and
point to
and
that.
if I recall, there was significant reason for
I-
that. And
So did you support it or not support it, I guess? Do you want to get your story straight or?
we were asking for information at that time,
Yeah.
which was not being provided.
That's also
But-
incorrect
but
too.
No.
Let's just, it's worth,
not.
it's worth noting that you can't fight fires with smirks. You just can't. You need real crucial apparatuses. Laughter and smirks is one thing that doesn't fight fires. Hopefully you'll reconsider and hold true to your support for the fire
We'll
department.
correct the record in the future. Thank you, Chair.
Mayor or
No,
Deputy
it's
Mayor,
not.
then since we're on this, if I think now we're on a different footing as far as our reports and our, financials. I guess if we wanted to revisit it based on our financials and a better picture of the finances of the city, when could we bring this back to a vote?
So, and just to be correct too, this city and during this administration has always been on solid financial ground.
Right.
Even at the time of coming to this, reporting everything's up to date. The information that is being asked for is provided. Yes, sometimes we're not going to provide the 10th tedious request, to do stuff. We're not going to do certain council members' legwork for them when it comes to considering legislation, to be blunt. But can we bring it back this week? We'd love to bring it back as soon as possible. We appreciate certain council members supporting this that hold true to their commitment to the fire department. We will bring it back anytime, but just to be clear, before we bring you folks these items to go to bond for it, we consult our financial consultants, fiscal advisors that oversee and work with clients across the state and region on bonding. Part of that consultation goes into how does that affect our future budgets, our current budgets. A lot of thought does go into it legally and financially. So just to be clear, we do not just willy-nilly come to you guys and are asking for funds. And let's also just double down on being clear here is that we are a municipality. We are not a business, although we have to operate efficient. We've heard the mayor go on and on about how we operate efficient. That's true. That being said, we have certain needs, just like to save money, we're not going to not make sure that the fire department is not staffed 24/7. To save money, we're not going to pull officers off the street. To save money, we're not just going to let water gush out of water main breaks. That's not how it works. Unfortunately, the money is needed to provide the services that we should all be committed to, especially the ones that are for public safety. And the fact that certain folks here want to claim in one hand that they support public safety when it's politically advantageous and then shoot down crucial fire apparatus.
Chair. I would
Shameful.
Respectfully request that we stick to the topic and not.
That is.
Well, let's
and-
move
and
on.
Not level charges.
Let's move on. Any more questions about expenditures or the capital plan? I'm sorry.
Chair.
Council member, explain.
I don't, the fire station that is in Lansingburg that we're, rebuilding, or building a new one. Is there any possibility of using that building for an animal shelter?
We've been over this a million times. An animal shelter is not something that we are capable of doing right now financially. If you look at the animal shelter up at Saratoga County, we really would need incredible partners, a lot of money, And quite frankly, to build a new building, that building, if you've been in there, it literally, it should be condemned.
Okay.
The building is unsafe. Secondly, though, the whole issue of the city doing its full-fledged animal shelter, the adoption process, ag and markets with the rules and regs, an animal shelter is just not feasible for our city right now, but potentially regionally or the county or someone else step up. for
And that, I wasn't suggesting that it become a city project. I just wondered if within city limits, a building like that could be used. So
Thank you.
clearly
That
the answer is
building,
no.
yeah, it's really bad and like should have been torn down probably 20 years ago, right?
Yes.
30 years.
I would imagine that the current Station One, since it's been allowed to be in disrepair for so long, would not even be suitable and up to date with the current new rules and regulations for shelters, just to be blunt. And it's a shame that our firefighters have had to deal with it, and look forward to seeing that new firehouse that, you know, is going to be tremendous for many reasons.
What is the plan, as soon as you build a new one with the old, just knock the old one down, and what
Knock
about the
old one
property?
down and look at future uses. We'll look at various uses. There is a haunted house across the street that was shown and featured on HGTV, potentially maybe some type of tourist destination. Yeah. Just a little humor.
It could be a haunted house, the firehouse, as it is now.
And just to give you all an update also, we do have a new ambulance that will be arriving in November, late November. And we do have a new engine company, which will be Engine 2 up on Boughton Road, and that will be delivered to us first week of January. Then we'll go to the manufacturer, the local manufacturer, local dealer for work or whatever. So we should have that in service by the end of January-ish, somewhere in there.
Great. Any other questions? None? Well, I guess, thank you so much, Chief, for coming, and tell Chief Behringer we miss him, wish he was here. And,
About Chief Keller.
yeah, no. Okay, sorry. Wait, he's gonna see this. He's gonna see this. I'm in trouble. Okay, well, nothing else. I guess I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Not on the committee.
Second.
Second.
Who?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. We're adjourned.
Much, Chief.
I'm sorry, who,
Katie, seconded.
82nd. Who was the first?
You made a motion.